My name is Amanda Dentler. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Georgia Public Broadcasting, and we are so happy to be hosting the screening of Liquor Store Dreams. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. We truly appreciate working with POV, the Council of Korean Americans, and the Korean American Coalition of Metro Atlanta to bring this event and to make it a reality. So we're just very excited tonight. GPB, Georgia Public Broadcasting, offers educational and entertaining programs through our 9 public television stations all throughout Georgia. So we cover the entire state. We also have 20 radio stations, 88.5, shout out to the Atlanta audience, with our NPR radio content. And we have award-winning digital resources for teachers and students through our education department. We also have our community engagement events, much like this screening. And if you're interested in all the events that we have coming up, gpb.org/community will give you all the information you need to learn about everything that we're doing. A lot in Atlanta, but we're going to be in Macon next week and just all over. So we're very excited for that. Thank you again for visiting GPB. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome. If you're back, thank you. And I hope you enjoy your evening.
Hello, Atlanta. My name is Linda Butcher, and I'm the Managing Director of the Council of Korean Americans. And I just love seeing everyone around this room coming from Boston to Washington, D.C. for myself, and also just seeing the generations, the children, the parents, friends, people of different communities coming together today, because our purpose as an organization is to actively support the community, build community across boundaries, and serve as a bridge builder. For the past 4 months, we've been in close discussions with Soyeon, PBS POV, Georgia Public Broadcasting, and Korean American Coalition Metro Atlanta on today's event. We instantly found that Atlanta to be the perfect location to showcase this meaningful, emotional, impactful film. Atlanta has the fastest growing Korean American community full of first and second generation Korean Americans, is home to many small businesses, and a city that is both healing and finding ways to make meaningful connections within and outside its communities. Bringing these national stories to Atlanta is part of what we are trying to do. Build bridges, build reconciliation, and learn how can our community support the broader community. I know that today's audience learned about this event through a variety of mediums. No matter how you heard about it, I know with certainty that it will resonate and stay with you. Today's story is about change, about intergenerational relationships and understanding. It's about feelings, immigrant stories, challenges immigrants face, and challenges small business owners face. It's about identity, dreams, mental and emotional health, generational differences, cultural differences, and family. We know that today's event is just the beginning of a greater conversation, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with you and the conversation for many years to come. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Park. On behalf of Korean American Coalition Metro Atlanta, we welcome you all here for this great event. Metro Atlanta, KAC, our vision is very simple, is to uplift and support Korean American community through collective partnership. We do this through promoting active participation through our communities affairs and civic affairs. So today we'll be diving into a story we can all relate to. It's about finding balance between living our dream with our parents' dream, who paved the way for us. Like we all said, I can't thank enough GPB, CKA, and POV for giving this platform for us to share this conversation and narrative that matters. And a place like this, it gives us a safe place to share and talk about our own experience. So thanks to you all for putting this event, I think the heart muscle. Casey was just easy to just spread the word through the community. As immigrants and also the children of immigrants, finding our dream with the sacrifice. I mean, we strive to understand the sacrifice our parents made throughout our life, And it's a big part of our life that is filled with complexity, a profound responsibility to honor our heritage, support our family, and forge our path in the middle of it all. So it's very complex. So to see stories like this, it really brings us home. And I can't wait to, our director's not here yet, but I can't wait to hear her insight. And I thank her for her dedication and vision to bring this important story here in Atlanta so that we can, like Linda said, we can start the conversation, we can share the conversation so that we can have a sense of belonging, and through this we can find a sense of shared identity, shared dream, share collective visions, and we can all achieve it when we support each other and open ourselves to hear about what others have to say. And we are grateful here to be part of this event, and thanks again for being here tonight, and let's enjoy and embrace this moment of connection and reflection. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Asad Mohammed. I'm the Vice President of Impact and Engagement Strategy at American Documentary POV. We're the longest running documentary series on television. We've been running for 37 years. And really, we came about at a time when there weren't a lot of stories about people of color on television. So our mission is really to showcase filmmakers from underrepresented communities, marginalized backgrounds, filmmakers who don't get center stage all the time. That is not to say that these are not some of the most talented filmmakers that you'll ever see in terms of their work. So Young did a very hard thing to put yourself in a film. That's a big decision, and to also carry the crafting of that story. So you're going to see an intimate story today. I don't want to speak too much about the film because the film does its work. POV, we plan community screening events around the country, and it's really to not just inspire, but to motivate you to do something, to get involved, to see the issues. How do you connect to the issues that you're about to see in this film? Because we all have some sort of connection. I'm the son of immigrants, two Jamaican immigrant parents, and when they tell me that they came to a country that they've never visited before and knew that they were going to make it home for them and make it home for their children, I see that as bravery, I see that as courage, and they see me moving from like New York to Atlanta as courageous. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think you did a bigger thing. And I think sometimes, the moves that we make mean something different in the generations that we are a part of. So I'm hoping that tonight we can have some dialogue between generations. We want to hear from the young people and how this film connects to you. We want to hear from the elders and how it connects to you. Because hopefully you'll find something that you can relate to in this story. Everybody knows how to enjoy a film. And that's what we are asking you to do tonight. But before we get started, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to someone that you do not know in the room. If you could just share with them your name, a smile, fist bump, handshake. I just want you to leave with a new connection. So if you could do that right now, please. Introduce yourself. Great, thank you for that. So now, we are going to do what you came here to do, and we are going to watch the film, Liquor Dreams by So Young.
언제나 내게 오랜 친구 같은
내가 미국 와서 처음 한 짤이 뭔지 알아? 청소, 방 청소. 그래서 아빠가 이 막을 잘하는 거야.
My dad is the hardest working person I know. He managed the family liquor store with great care. 15 hours a day, 365 days a year.
아빠는 할 수 있는 게 이거밖에 없어. 아는 게 이거 아니야 지금. 아빠 공부도 많이 못해? 영어도 지금 몇십 년대 영어도 잘 못해? 나의 설득 하나도 없잖아. 너는 성실하지 않으면은 인생을 살아갈 수 없다. 스스로가 내가 나한테 얘기하는 거야. 성실한 만큼 결과 좋은 쪽으로.
Come closer. 더 가까이. 더 가까이. 지시? 나 이거 촬영하는 거 어떻게 생각해?
평범하게 남자로 직장 생활하거나 이런 건 좋은데 힘든 걸 하니까 그게 좀 마음이 아파서 그런 거지. 영화가 뭐야? 우리가 보통 이제 얘기하는 거, 느끼는 걸 보여주면은 에이 저거 영화라고 만들어서 시시하지? 이게 안 되는 거야.
아빠 분명히는 나 지금 뭐 할까?
뭐 하냐고?
무슨 이거?
나는 잘 처음에서 잘 모르겠네.
이거 포커스. 이게 포커스야.
아 있어.
와, 진짜 조심해야 돼. 이것도
알았어요.
빠르게 살지. 됐어 나.
잘 나왔어요.
나 뭐 할까?
응?
Who would have guessed that a child of a liquor store owner like me would want to make films? That's me. So, I'm a liquor store baby. And I have big dreams. 굿! 베리 굿!
고생했어?
조금 조금이야 괜찮아. 진짜 안 보이잖아 여기 보이면.
When I was 10, my parents purchased their first liquor store in Long Beach. I have an appreciation for the family business. It brought us financial security. Growing up, because my parents worked so much, the television and movies were my babysitter. Watching Justin Lin's Better Luck Tomorrow showed me that I could also become a filmmaker, as I saw my angsty yet sheltered life on screen. But later, discovering Spike Lee movies showed me a completely different world. I loved how he made politically charged films with tons of fun, flair, and sincerity. That was probably the first time I was exposed to a black artist's POV of his experience. But even in movies, I couldn't escape my reality.
20 de-energizers.
20 C energizers.
D, not C, D.
C energizers?
D, motherfucker, D! Learn to speak English first, alright? D!
What the fuck you?
Watching Do the Right Thing made me realize just how common racial tensions and misunderstandings occur at so many Korean-owned shops, even across America.
The Korean, you have any idea how much money my country has given your country?
As I began to watch more films, I realized that the angry Korean liquor store owner stereotype went beyond Do the Right Thing.
$6.66.
And it was all over mainstream media where we were portrayed as farcical and ultimately disposable sideline characters. It was as if Spike Lee predicted the future.
Began around 5 o'clock Pacific time in the area around this liquor store. This is live right now. This is live.
Okay, this is a we haven't been firing like this in the previous lessons.
30 years after the 1992 LA uprising, my family is some of the last generation of Koreans who still own liquor stores in predominantly black and brown neighborhoods. But even after all these years, when I step into my parents' store, it's as if we're stuck in time. And all the shame and rage I felt growing up in my parents' store has been fueling my desire to film our lives in this place.
커피 한 잔.
커피.
거짓 냄새!
저기 저 코라스 냄새지. 코라스 냄새.
아빠, 내가 우리 가게에 대해서 영화 만들고 있잖아. 만약에 내가 한국 사람이랑 흑인 사람 갈등의 이야기 포함시킨다면 어떻게 생각해?
그거는 어떻게 만들었냐에 따라서 좋아하지. 근데 소인이 생각하는 거하고 우리 1세들이 생각하는 그하고는 갭이 있구나. 응? 갭을 얼마만큼 좁히느냐에 따라서 좀 더 많은 사람들이 좋아하고 좀 더 적어하고 뭐 이럴 있을 거라고 생각해.
I'm surprised you acknowledged our generational gap, because usually our conversation leads to more misunderstandings and fights. And lately, our main disagreement has been about my life choices.
여자는 여자 좀 있어서 그 시기에 맞춰서 결혼하고 그 시기에 맞춰서 이제 자식을 낳고 이런 때가 있단 말이야. 그 영화 개통은 너무너무 힘들지 않나?
이렇게? 이렇게 내가 한번 해볼게.
And when will my parents stop thinking that marriage is the answer to everything?
엄마 친구 딸은 시집간 다닌다. Good for her. 엄마 친구 딸 누구 결혼했다. 누구 결혼했다. 상관 안 해. 상관 안 하면 뭐 언제까지 우리랑 같이 살 거야? Forever.
So sad. Whenever I feel discouraged or start thinking that my dreams are hard to achieve, there's one person that inspires me to think differently and dare to dream the impossible. I just want to see it. Meet Danny, a fellow liquor store baby.
Growing up, I asked myself, like, if I can work anywhere, where would it be? The one place I could think of was Nike. I've always wanted to do branding work for them. I ran from my home, Los Angeles, up to Portland, because that's where the Nike World Headquarters is. It took me 45 days of running. The job I wanted to do was like storytell. For me, that's what like Nike always represented. Just go for it and have courage. Dropped off my resume, portfolio, cover letter, and it's like, just did it. Getting a job at Nike, it was a big deal. It was, of course, my mom was very happy. Everybody was really proud. Working at like a well-known company like that, there's like a sense of like prestige.
Yeah, my dad's favorite brand is Nike because of the motto, just do it.
Oh, just do it?
He always says, just do it. Like, I'm trying. I'm really trying.
Now I'm asking, why just do it? A couple years ago, my dad had passed away. While I was working at Nike, I was also flying back twice a month to help out with the store.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the team, how are you?
How are you?
All right.
Right.
After my dad passing away, my mom running the store by herself, and knowing that that's very difficult to manage a store of this capacity, I ultimately made the decision to quit my job and do my thing here.
You don't feel like you had to forfeit your dream because of this and come back?
I don't feel that at all. Yeah, I'm happily here.
Yeah, it's such a different contrast. I always feel like I would be burdened if my dad were to pass away and then to face a decision whether to sell it or actually take over, because didn't they sacrifice so much so I can do something better,
For sure.
in a way? So,
My dad would flip over in his grave if he knew that I was doing this. He didn't even allow that conversation. I hated my dad for a long period of my life. My dad was a very angry receiving end of it. You know, got hit or whatever, the abuse and all that. I was hurt. I was really resentful and angry for a big period of my life. You know, it was really awkward because we spent many, many years not talking to each other. So it was awkward. But I know for sure that deep down in both of us, we both craved it so bad. You know, we were hungry for it, but we didn't quite have the communication tools. Damn, you know, I wish I knew more about him now, you know, and his whole life story. And, yeah.
왜 아빠 하나도 없어?
아빠 없어. 아빠는
미국에 언제 왔어?
81년 8월 24일. 아빠 그때 젊었다 그죠?
예.
쌩쌩. 미국에 오면 좀 낫다 그러니까 그냥 온 거지. 모든 조건이 안 좋으니까.
왜?
응? 혈압은 부자가니까.
아버지는 아무것도 없어가지고 81년도에 왔을 때 100불 가져왔었대. 100불.
미신공연만 했어. 처음 와가지고 그때 당시 원아원에 3불 25 받아주고
이렇게 미국에 와서 살 줄 몰랐어. 근데 어떻게 연결이 돼가지고 보니까 내 짝은 미국에 있었던 거야.
아빠 만나 보니까 보고서 뭐 우선 착하게 생겼으니까
아버지가 자기가 솔직하게 다 얘기하더라고. 자기는 미국에 왔을 때 가지고 아무것도 없다 그러고 그냥 자기는 그때 페인트 했었잖아. 아버지가 페인트 한다고.
12월 9일날 서울을 와서 처음 만났어. 12월 9일 디셈버 9 만나가지고 디셈버 24th에 결혼했어. 19데이가 뭐잖아. 그게 다 연이 되려고 그랬는 거야. 그 소연이 연을 모를까 아마. 근데 이제 조금 산 사람들은 그 연애, 그 인연에 대해서 조금 느껴. 일이 너무 힘들어가지고 병원을 자주 왔다 갔다 하니까 안정적으로 좀 살아야 되겠다는 생각에 코리아타운에 집에 있는 거를 팔고 돈 갖고 이제 2000 마치 BONY 마켓 처음 마켓을 시작한 거지.
너무 힘들은데도 집밥도 많이 없고 그런데도 미국에 더 났어?
미국은 찬스가 있잖아. 한 만큼 노력한 만큼 여기 대상 써 있잖아. 부자도 햄버거 먹을 때 나도 햄버거 먹었어. 근데 한국은 안 그렇잖아.
온 집안 식구들이 다 엄스 패밀리가 다 왔으니까 할머니하고 다 왔으니까는 이민사에 한 획을 글 정도로 한꺼번에 다 왔잖아. 27명이 와가지고 지금 이렇게 살기까지 많이 노력해서 살고 있으니까 아메리칸 드림을 이룬 거지 뭐. 응?
우리 가족은 작은 아빠, 큰 조카, 둘째 조카, 셋째 조카, 둘째 누나, 셋째 매형 6가구가 캄프톤 다들 사우센트에서 비즈니스 했었지.
It's amazing to see how much they accomplished. How did so many Korean families in one generation follow the same path?
When did your parents buy the store?
1993.
Oh wow, okay. Wow, that was a really long time.
Yeah, I was 9 years old when we started. I was a little kid. My parents were out of work for a period of time. And then an opportunity came, I guess, with the store.
Auntie Kim. I'm fine, how about you? Oh yeah. 97, alright. 아버지가 1975에 돌아가셨구나. 그 다음에 데니 아빠를 1976에 내가 만났어. 이게 우리 아버지인데 데니 아빠가 나랑 이제 한 달 됐나 사귄 지? 그러면서 아빠 사진 한 장 달라 그래갖고 그 내 생일날 이걸 그려왔더라고 데니 아빠가. 그래서 내가 그때 이제 애초에 나는 우리 아버지가 미국에 이민 오자마자 또 리커스토어를 하셨어. 아니 리커스토어 베이비 투야. 나는 우리 아버지가 또 그거를 하다가 망했어. 그래갖고 아빠도 좀 슬픈 사연이 많아 나도.
저희들은 주로 마켓 믿고 술을 파는 그 업소에 오너들이 모이는 그런 단체예요. 그래서 가주에만 캘리포니아만 한 2,000, 3,000 이렇게 있어요. 권총 강도도 많이 당하고 또 사고도 많이 나고 여러 가지 사연이 많아요. 그럴 때마다 캘리포니아 캡으로 우리 협회가 우리 회원들을 보호하는 그런 일을 많이 해왔어요.
왜 리커스토어 시작했어요?
그 말이 있어요. 누가 공항으로 픽업을 오느냐. 이제 오면 여기 지인이나 누가 공항에 도착하면 픽업해달라고 그러잖아요. 옛날에 이민가방 큰 거 들고. 그런데 친구가 그때 리코스였기 때문에 나도 그 방향으로 갔고. 페브로는 여러 가지 그 상품을 주고보다 보니까 카톡에 거기서 다 서로 의논을 하거든요. 이걸 어디서 사는 거야? 이런 서로 정보도 주고. 이거 많이 편해졌고 또 많이 수월해졌어요. 옛날보다는 장사가.
일단 네, 지난번에 신문에서 봤어요. 네, 신문에 크게 나왔더라고요. 앵무새인데 설교 테스트
Initially, I was proud of our vast network. But from the local Black and Brown residents' point of view, I'm sure it was a completely different experience. By the late 80s, Koreans owned 75% of all liquor stores in South LA. How did this happen? I decided to ask UCLA professor Kyoung Park.
What do you think was the appeal for most Korean immigrants to come and open liquor stores?
I don't think it was appealing to Korean immigrants. There was a stigma attached to sell liquor because most Korean immigrants and liquor store owners, they didn't sell liquor in Korea.
제가 여기서 학교를 다녔다 보니까 제가 왜 그 위험한 리코 비즈니스를 했었는지 제가 조금 미련했었던 것 같다는 느낌을 가졌습니다.
사실은 남들한테 이렇게 리코스타를 하려고 권하고 싶은 생각은 없어요. 왜냐하면 너무 일하는 시간이 길기 때문에 아침 7시에서 밤 11시까지 7데이 오픈을 해야 되기 때문에 365일 일을 해야 되고
항상 그 아이들하고 있는 시간이 짧았었고 그리고 일찍 들어오면 가게에서 무슨 일이 일어날까 봐 항상 불안에 떨어 있었고
There is a myth, as if like Korean immigrants invented liquor store and intentionally they started to sell liquor in South Central. That isn't true at all. They own the businesses in other neighborhoods of similar economic standing. That means middle or working class neighborhood, regardless of race and ethnicity. That is why they went to South Central.
우리 전에는 니콜 주텐이 하셨어요. 그러다가 그 다음에 일본 사람들이 많이 니코하고 그 다음에 이제 한국 분들이 니코하고 지금은 이제 인도 계통 그쪽 방글라데시.
The only liquor stores I knew was our own and the ones stereotyped in movies. If I never learned the history of the racial injustice in South LA before my family arrived till much later, my parents couldn't have known more than I did.
Let's see what's up in this motherfucker.
You ain't gotta be creeping. I don't know why you trying to act like you cleaning up. I always think you're gonna steal something. I gotta go. And then what you
But
gonna
all these shameful images of us on screen were called back to one real-life incident that my community rarely talks about. Most people understand that it was the Rodney King verdict acquitting 4 police officers that sparked the 1992 LA uprising. But what some people may not remember is that only weeks after the Rodney King beating, a Korean store owner named Sunja Ju shot and killed a 15-year-old black teenager named Latasha Harlins over a $1.79 bottle of orange juice.
I know a criminal when I see one. I know a person who presents a danger to the community when I see one.
I think it was an injustice. Justice has not been served. This lady has killed my 15-year-old granddaughter, and she got away with 5 years probation. This is an injustice.
The judge ruled that the Korean store owner was not going to receive any jail time after killing a black teenager. Compounded with the acquittal of the LAPD officers, events escalated quickly, leading to many Korean-owned businesses and Koreatown burning during the 1992 LA uprising. Whenever I experience racial tension at my store, I feel like we are still connected to the controversies of the past. Just like my community that has been so quiet about their shame and pain. My dad and I also tend to process our hurt and pain in isolation. And there are incidents that occurred at our store that we still haven't talked about. There is one day I'll never forget. A random group of teenage girls came in and started opening and throwing around chips at one another. My dad told them to stop, but they wouldn't. They stood in front of the stores eating the unpaid chips and taunting us. My dad went outside to tell them to leave, but they just laughed. And then it happened. They stood on each side of him and spit into his face. I was standing behind the bulletproof glass watching this all happen in slow motion. I felt paralyzed. My mom wanted to chase after them and asked me to come along. I said, "It's just chips, let it go."
So I get ready for my mother and I go in the store. I grab the Mars bar, I put it on the counter, and as I'm counting the change, this lady, she screams. And she's like, wait, hold on, no, stop, what you doing? I'm her mother outside, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna get her mother.
I learned watching the short film The Dope Peers that Sunja Ju behaved recklessly and frequently pointed guns at children.
As I look up, I'm looking down the barrel of a gun.
Latasha's friend even warned her not to step into that store.
My mother comes into the store and she said, we paid for that. The receipt is in the bag. I asked you for the receipt. We just got it outside.
But even if Sunja Ju's action didn't represent all Korean merchants, it still created shame in me. Maybe my fear of the liquor store has something to do with this stereotype. That I might get stuck in this place of negativity and turn into somebody that I don't want to be.
Oh yeah, we ran out today. I think Miller Lite. Yeah, sorry. Right?
Where'd he go?
You don't have to stand so close. He left because there's no Miller Lite.
Oh my god, you lost a fucking sale. This is why you don't
No,
work
he just
here.
wanted to come here for that.
If you were a good salesman, you'd be like, oh, how about a different beer? And I twist that around. There's like, oh, this new beer just came out. It's basically similar as Miller
Okay,
Lite.
well, most people come here for one thing, and
And
that's
act
like
like
their thing.
you are a drinker, even though you're not a drinker. That's how you sell. Then why don't you run this place? I want to have my own business, not this. Okay. Yeah.
What, selling bows?
Cut that out. Cut that out.
If something were to happen to Oma and Appa, would you take over the store?
I don't want to do this. That's what it comes down to. I don't. I
But
mean,
you're so good at
yeah, but I'm not good at doing bitch work.
it. This is not bitch work. You're all your own boss.
Hi.
How could you say it's bitch work when our parents do it?
Huh?
How could you say it's bitch work when it's Oma and Appa?
I can't do this. I really can't.
Like, what about it? It wasn't that bad when we were doing it. Just
It
us
was. We got robbed by a high school kid. Which one? This one?
좀 가까이. 맞네, 좀 가까이. 쳐다보면 안 되는데.
There must have been good memories I've forgotten about, but in my experience, the bad always outweighs the good.
너 저번달에 전화값 안 냈어. 빨리 내놔. 줘야지.
엄마 그날 나 어렸을 때 그날 기억나? 엄마가 도둑 와가지고서 누가 총 이렇게 했대.
머리 까만 여기 비니 이렇게 쓰고 눈 나오는 것만 쓰고 와가지고 그냥 들어오자마자 엄마한테 돈 달라고 그랬어. 엄마가 돈 줬어. 돈 주고 그때는 여기 경찰서에다 누르는 그 저기 일몰전시 벨이 있었어. 그래가지고
눌렀어?
걔가 있잖아 엄마 보러 엎드리래. 그래서 엄마가 엎드리는 동시에 벨을 눌렀어. 근데도 뭐 폴리스 빨리 오지도 않아. 첫날은 괜찮고 다음날 내가 좀 무섭고 다음날 내가 좀 무섭고 이제 그랬지. 첫날은 어리벙벙 해가지고 잘 모르겠더라고.
뭐 딴 사람이 처음 이렇게 하는데 뭐
너무 미국 와서 그냥 한 번 그렇게 하고 나니까 처음에는 어리벙벙 해가지고 무서운 뭔지도 모르고 난 아직 죽을 때가 안 됐나 보다. 엄마 그렇게 생각했어.
I remember the day that she came home. She was like really quiet and she said something happened at the store.
She seemed very normal.
No, when I saw her, she wasn't. She was like very like quiet and she's never like that. And then she told me what happened and I call mom and dad as often as I can, like every day or every other day, because I'm scared that I'm gonna get a call from someone, anyone, and I'm scared that they're gonna give me bad news.
I realize now that the liquor store life has taken a toll on each of my family members, and my family as a whole. But it's taken the biggest toll on my dad.
아빠가 갑자기 죽잖아. 내가 가게에서 일할까?
아니 하지마. 뭐더라 너 좋아하는 거 해야지.
그러면 뭐 아빠가 돌아가실 때 이 가게 팔아야 돼?
그럼 무조건 팔아요. 싸게. 근데 비싸게 좀 안 나가니까 다른 가게보다 훨씬 싸게 팔아. 아빠가 원하는 것은 소유기가 시집을 갖고 그리고 아빠가 가게를 팔고 리타이어 하는 것이 아빠의 꿈이야 지금 현재.
A few days later, I saw my dad signing away paperwork to some businessmen. After 20 years in the business, he's finally putting the store up for sale. My dad is doing his best to lift the burden of the store off of all of us. The store has served as a meeting place for me, my family, and different minority communities we normally wouldn't encounter in our daily lives. Without this store, would we proceed back to only interacting with our current community?
I recently watched the Mr. Rogers documentary, and it really, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it really, there's a lot of parts that really impacted me, and this is something that he says, that a neighborhood was a place where at times that you felt worried, scared, unsafe. It would take care of you, provide understanding, safety. That's what the neighborhood is to us. The neighborhood is not a fantasy place where all these people got together and everything was happily ever after. When you have different people together with diverse opinions, you have conflict, real conflict.
Work internationally.
Yeah. I've been in here since 2009. Doesn't seem too long. You know, days fly by really fast.
How did you end up here?
Well, you know, you make mistakes down in your life. You end up in these places to... They're going to charge you next time.
75. Oh, 75.
The American dream is like to have a good job, a house, a good wife, 4 kids, 2 cars, and an everlasting pension. But to me, just to live. That's it.
God wants you.
Yeah. When I first started working here, I didn't really have any problem. You know, people told me, oh, don't do it, it's not good. They're gonna overwork you. They don't really care about you. You know, they're just using you to protect themselves. They weren't any type of racist for me. Like, they speak in their language, you know. I don't take that as a bad thing. You know, 'cause that's their tongue. That's how they talk to each other. They speak to me in English. Before I started working, I really didn't like anybody. You know, everybody was the enemy. They taught me that not everybody's an enemy. I'm happy right now. Like, you know, even though I'm still considered homeless, I'm still happy within me.
솔직히 내가 진짜 우리 동네 사람 뭐 나쁜이 아닐 거야. 한국 사람들이 내가 그렇지 않니? 한국 사람들이 다 이렇게 나보다 못한 사람은 무시하고 나보다 돈 조금 더 있고 그런 사람은 좀 다르게 보고 그런 게 뭐 나쁜은 아닐 건데 나도 많이 그랬지. 여기 홈레스 애들 돈 없고 짜먹고 뭐 솔직히 나는 얘네들보다 좀 낫다 그런 생각 안 한다는 거는 뭐 거짓말이겠지, 그치? 요새는 내가 이 동네 사람들이 없으면 내가 돈을 못 벌잖아, 그치? 그걸로 다 우리 또 인플로이 돈도 주고 그러니까 그 사람들한테 잘해야지.
outside of Skid Row, there's a lot of anger and a lot of frustration. There's so many deaths, so many like suicides. What do we do about all that? The last time we visited, it was Best Market, and this year we got to transition into Skid Row People's Market. A lot of the work that we're trying to do is how do we get better food at a more affordable price. We have a red potato salad and a tuna salad, all fresh, packaged here, and it's also a way that we can create jobs and teach culinary skills to people in the community. Using this space for folks to come together, to have conversations, to talk, meet one another.
Initially, I got involved with going around to the local little grocers to find out actually who was selling really kind of healthy foods. And to my amazement, I found that, you know, the store here actually have the most healthiest of foods. Food preparation and cooking was part of my journey before I ended up homeless. And the last 2 years that I've had my own kitchen, it's been part of my recovery and also of creating a healthy lifestyle. So I just want to thank you.
Yesterday in our staff meeting, one of the things that we were talking about was what is safety? What does safety look like? And in our dialogue, we began to talk about a smile. It was said a smile is powerful. A smile can be disarming, a smile is transformative. My mom has a smile that has kept this market warm for 22 years.
Yes, 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 yes.
Homelessness and houselessness. And that's a part of what we're looking for, right? Our identity, Korean American, children of liquor store owners, immigrant store owners. The sense of belonging, because we don't quite feel home in Korea, and we don't quite feel home here in America. A house is a physical structure, but like a home is a non-tangible. And so I feel like we're all constantly searching for that, a sense of belonging, where you feel accepted for just who you are.
As a second-generation Korean American, I've always dreamt of a future where communities aren't pitted against each other, but building together. If anyone can do it, it's Danny.
Chaos and destruction in Minneapolis tonight as police officers and protesters clash over a man's death.
In the video, you can see an officer kneeling on Floyd's neck, pinning him to the ground outside Cub Foods on Chicago and East 38th Street.
We were already living in a global pandemic when my dad saw George Floyd murdered on the news.
Day of rapid developments from Minneapolis to Los Angeles as the nation remains on edge.
지금 문 닫아야 돼. 빨리 집에 가자.
Curfew is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in Central Park. That means you have to stay in.
He and other liquor store owners worried that their business would get targeted, like they did back in '92. As Korean Americans, we are reminded of a moment in history that we'll never forget. The '92 LA uprising, commonly known as the LA riots, or to Koreans, 사이구. I was only 3 years old, so I had to remind myself that during this time, more than half of the citywide damages were Korean owned.
사이구 그날 뭐 하고 있어서 기억나?
그날 4.19 폭동 때 와드리킨 뉴스 듣고 그 재판 결과가 이상이 나오니까 그냥 펑 터진 거에 정신이 없었지. 그 이튿날 아내분이 그 어로샵을 했는데 거기를 갔는데 그 아내분이 그 빌딩 위에서 지키고 계시더라고.
We are on Olympic Boulevard in Koreatown at the Olympic Discount Store. There are 28 men, armed men, everyone with guns, protecting this store. They have done such a job here.
This is live right now. This is live.
We don't see this very often. Okay, this is unprecedented.
막내 아빠는 벌먼하고 맨체스터 이렇게 둘이 시뻘겋게 올라오고 그 뉴스에 나왔어. 다들 사우센츄에서 비즈니스 했었는데 그때 6 패밀리가 다 스토어가 6 스토어가 다 탔지. 경찰이 위험하니까 가지 말라. 그냥 놔둬라. 물건을 막 가게에서 막 끄집어놓으니까 그래서 그냥 거기에 못 들어갔다고 그러더라고.
사람들 신경질 나.
신경질 난다고 남을 것처럼 그거 쳐봐.
아까 사람 죽었어. 우리 한국 사람이 죽었으면 이렇게 신경질 날 거야.
신경질을 안 했잖아. 한국 사람 믿고 하는 사람들 얼마나 많이 죽었어. 우리 흑인은 저렇게 잘못해서.
아니 폴리스가 우리 죽이면.
폴리스가 왜 우리 죽인 사람 봤어? 못 봤지? 그러나 흑인들은 한 집에 와가 장사하는데 와가지고 총 쏴서 죽인 사람 수없이 많아.
우리 대해서 아니야. 이 싸움은
아니든 어쨌든 그게 잘못됐다니까.
진짜 싸움은 이 경찰이 흑인한테 죽어서 그래.
그러면은 내 얘기를 이렇게 지금 봐. 내가 싸우려면은 정정당당히 재판을 거기서 재판관이 할 거 아니야. 저 재판관이
그런 거 해도 안 돼.
그거 저거 봐봐. 저거 말이지.
So what about 순재도 같은 사람들?
순재 그거는 걔가 훔쳤잖아. 어린애잖아. 그거 보지 않고 얘기하지 마. 아빠는 수없이 그걸 지금도 10수년 그걸 봐왔어.
훔쳐도
그 열이 나면 남의 그 훔친 열이 나면 순간에 실수할 수가 있어 사람이.
아빠는 실수했어?
아니 근데 저는 안 사잖아. 안 갖고 있잖아. 아빠는 아예. 무슨 얘기인지 알아? 아빠 사람이 실수할까봐. 총 갖고 있으면 실수해서 그거 가면 열이 안 오나? 너는 내 거 아니니?
그 차이 너무 그 차이 너무 많이 차이 있어. 진짜 사람 죽이는 차이하고 그냥 신경질하는 차이. 내 생각은 아빠도 진짜 신경질나도 사람 못 죽일 것 같아.
난 총을 안 사잖아. 그러니까.
I know, but
너만이 너.
큰 차이야.
너만이 너야. 무슨 얘기인지 알아? 아무도 몰라. 내가 느낀 거 그대로 얘기하는 거야. 무슨 얘기냐? 내가 느낀 경험, 익스피리언스, 경험 한 번을 얘기하는 거야. 너는 네가 경험하자는 것을 얘기하면 안 돼. 그건 정확한 게 아니야. 내가
절반.
Couldn't he try to put himself in someone else's shoes for 1 second?
근데 아직도 내 나이 아줌마 maybe 엄마 아빠는 그때 라이언 때 있었기 때문에 아직도 그 흑인한테 그 마음이 똑같은 것 같아. 안 변하고.
Many came out and filled the streets, still trying to grapple how to promote peace between the Korean and Black community. And although there were many efforts to bridge our two communities together, I wonder how equipped they were to make any lasting changes amidst the trauma of losing everything. Although there is a lot of fear in my community of losing their businesses again, the tides are shifting. And many of us now understand that it's only through solidarity that can bring real change. Years after the Koreatown Peace Rally, here we are.
I chose to assimilate with white people for my own self-preservation. I didn't speak up against racism because I was scared.
내 딸이 데모하는 데 간다? 나는 그런 걸 원치 않아. 그 어디에 가든 편견이 있다고 생각해. 그 차별이 없다는 순간일 뿐이지. 또 지나면 또 차별이 생겼거는 지금 저 사람 차별하니까 저거 안 된다 싸워야 된다 싸워. 그거는 일시적인 거.
근데 그런 차별을 바꿀 수 있어.
없어요.
있어.
아니 있다고 하지만 내 얘기는
없는 것 같은데.
아니
그 믿음이 있어야 돼. Sometimes 그런 걸 못 참아. 싸워야 돼.
이럴 때는 뭐 peaceful don't distract 그런 말 할 때가 아니라고. 그게 내가 너무 아직 우리 깨달음이 안 생겼다 하는 게 너무 속상해요. Anti-blackness within our community is severe. Within the community of color is severe. And Asian communities is severe. Step by step, we don't have time, but we have to educate ourselves. 얘는 스트레스가 sometimes 너무 그런 거 많은 것 같아.
말을 해줘요?
응?
무슨 뭐 스트레스?
내가 보면 알지. If I see his face, I know. It's sure right away.
나도 뱅크랩스를 2번이나 해봤네. 진짜 일어나면 나중에 아무것도 없었어. 그때 이제 한국에서 돈을 좀 어떻게 해왔어. 그래갖고 폭동 나고 나서다 그 스티로 지금 동네 거기다가 이제 가게를 하나 되게 싸게 샀지.
Do you feel like you were a little bit scared to get a store because you knew that that happened?
근데 사람이 이렇게 그 라이언 난다메라도 이제 또 마켓을 다시 시작했지만 사람이 또 아무것도 가진 게 없으면 그런 거 무서운 게 아니야. 너무 없잖아? 그럼 아무거나 해서 먹고 살아야 되잖아. 그러니까 그런 거 생각을 안 하고 또 그런 비즈니스를 하게 되는 것이. 데니도 리커스토어 키드지만 나도 우리 아버지가 리커스토어를 하셨으니까 우리가 1972에 이민을 왔어. 그런데 우리 아버지가 군인이었거든. 그래서 아빠가 영어를 좀 잘하셨어. 그래갖고 SBA로 날지 스몰 비즈니스로 그걸로 돈을 얻어갖고 몬테벨로에 리커스토어를 차렸어. 자기가 차렸어. 되는 걸 원래 있는 거를 해야 되는데 자기가 차렸어. 이렇게 새 그 리즈를 얻어갖고. 그러니까 장사가 안 되잖아. 그러니까 아빠가 그걸 하다가 아빠가 자살했어. 총으로. 근데 내가 그때 투혼인데 아빠가 그러니까 영어도 잘 못하잖아 그때. 그래서 내가 그 사람이 그 스몰 비즈니스 론이니까 가방 먼저 가잖아. 그거 내가 혼자 뱅크랍시를 했어. 딴 사람한테 얘기 안 했어. 많이 몰라. 데니한테도 나중에 얘기했지. 그런 아픈 그게 있잖아.
Hard since the pandemic began. Our IT counties here have 4 times the death rate compared to San Francisco. And those who lost loved ones are now questioning what could have been done differently to save them.
Since COVID, it's been slower. We applied, but we didn't get any loans. We paid all our employees. We had a fundraiser for that.
Working on Skid Row is kind of difficult, you know, when you're also dealing with your own issues as well.
So why are you leaving?
So I've gone through struggles throughout working, throughout the year. It's become draining, it's become stressful, and it's become bad for my health.
When you told Daniel, what did he say?
Well,
You're like, oh, I want to leave.
well, he just wished me good luck. I mean, he's a great dude, man. He still encourages me to do my best.
2 of our workers, they're over 70. I asked them if they could stay home for the time being. Instead of hiring another employee to fill that spot, I took that spot. I was working more hours. Angie, my sister, started working here, helping out. You know, we feel like more tension in the air too. The fights and the violence. Huh? Yeah, you're good.
제 물건 사가는 것도 외상으로 줘? 자기는 마음도 좋아. 어? 그래. 너는 맨날 내가 잘못했다고 그러지?
아니, 나가 제때 말하는 거 많이 듣는 거야.
나도 싫다. 뭐가? 그래.
You all right? I know. Take a deep breath. Walk away, take a deep breath.
그래, 이렇게 사는 게 다 힘든 거야. 쉬운 게 없어. 마음을 편안하게.
사이 다 좋았으면 좋겠어.
근데 어쩔 수 없어. 같이 이게 하다 보면 부모 자식이든 자식끼리든 부딪혀. 근데 다 그런 거야. 그래.
felt this often as soon as I woke up in the morning. At 4 o'clock, eyes open, and it's like these suicidal thoughts. Not wanting to go to work, because when I go, it's so difficult. You wanting to crawl up into a ball or run away, as far as just leave. You just can't see anything outside of that. And so, I guess you plan your exit. After being open for a year in the pandemic, I decided we needed a break. So we temporarily closed the store.
Despite many businesses closing for good during the 2020 global pandemic,
Thank you.
our liquor store did surprisingly well.
그 많은 사람들이 또 외부에 활동 못 하니까 집에만 있으니까 레스토랑, 뭐 이런 데가 올 스탑 됐으니까 우리 이런 니코 하는 사람들은 그 전보다는 조금 매상이 좀 올랐다는 느낌을 받고 있죠.
But not only that, now we have potential buyers' interest in our store. If the store sells, I hope my dad can finally get the rest that he deserves. And find new dreams beyond survival. Also, it would be nice to spend time together that's not at the store for once.
좋아.
이거 먹어봐.
Growing up as a man in this society and thinking that so much of the responsibility lies on my shoulders and mine only. To take care of your family, take care of your people, take care of your community, to survive, to make that money. I was trying to cope and look for relief by drinking a lot. And we saw the same behaviors that I saw in my father, other men I know, other men in my family. They relate to my father. I did feel similarly having the weight all on my shoulders. You know, at the end of his life, the thing that I felt most proud of was getting that relationship back with my dad. We were like best friends. We were like holding each other, hugging each other, saying I love you to each other, which is very uncommon for Koreans. You know, on a more individual level, that's what I think about, you know? There's the reactionary suicide and there's the revolutionary suicide. But before we die, how shall we live? I say with hope and dignity, and if premature death is the result, that death has a meaning reactionary suicide can never have. It is the price of self-respect. Earlier this year, I visited my grandfather's grave for the first time. I didn't even know it was at Rose Hills. Went there with my mom. asked her if we can go, and yeah, we went together. As soon as we got there, my mom's like, "아빠 왔어요," and I just didn't expect that. Just experiencing that mommy and daddy
We
together.
always forget that our parents are also like sons and daughters.
Oh, wow.
근데 아빠가 너무 용기가 없어. 그 뭐 론 못 갚으면 어때, 그치? 뱅크럽시하고 다시 살면 되는데 너무 착하니까 같대. 자기가 그걸 론 페이먼을 못하면 큰일 나는 줄 알고. 안 그렇잖아 사실, 그치? 또 데니 아빠도 또 비즈니스도 뭐 그래서 또 그러고. 한번 경험이 있어서 두 번째는 내가 좀 잘 알겠더라.
I've known, for some time, but I never really thought too deeply about it until last year. Even if I've never met my grandfather in person, he's very much alive in my behaviors. Those are all manifestations, I think, of my grandfather's agony. Until my grandfather and my father, that it's like it wasn't like all your fault, so rest and be free. Part of our healing may involve the healing of our parents. Actually, there is no individual healing. Changes, it's all relational.
내가 아빠나 영화 보여주라고 변역하는 사람이랑 열심히 변역했어. 아빠가 보고 좋았으면 좋겠어. 내가 한국 사람 사랑하니까 구박도 하고
그렇지.
잔소리도 하고 그냥 우리 관계 같은 거 사람 미국에서 살면서 다 좋은 거 아니야. 좋은 거 말하고 나쁜 거도 말해야 돼. 무슨 이거?
나는 잘 척해서 잘 모르겠네.
이거 포커스, 이게 포커스야.
있어.
Over $1.79 bottle of orange juice.
Anti-blackness within our community is severe. We need the power severe. And step by step, we don't have time. But we have to educate ourselves.
울컥한 장면 있었어?
장면? 내가 아빠가 너무 흥분했댔나. 그러니까 아까 그 문 닫고 집에 와서 뉴스 봤잖아. 그 장면. 근데 뭐 그건 사실이니까.
우리 관계 너무 매일 싸우잖아. 그러니까 조금 더 뭐 우리 관계에 대해서 뭐가 원하는 점이 있어?
아빠하고 서로가 마음속으로는 좀 더 좀 더 서로를 알고 싶고 좀 더 서로가 좀 얘기를 하고 싶고 좀 더 많은 것을 서로가 알고 싶어 하는데 언어 소통이 100% 잘 안 된다는 거야. 어디서 차이 나냐? 고정관념이라고 하냐? 그러니까 고치지 않는 생각. 아빠가 살아온 세계, 여태까지 살아온 세계가 있잖아. 그런 생각, 그리고 소인이는 새로운 그 시대에서 자라나면서 얻어지는 생각. 특히 아빠가 오래된 사람들은 이 생각을 못 버려. 바꾸지는 못해. 이게 특히 문제는 아빠인데 아빠는 노력하려고 해도 고치기 힘드네.
네가 내니 보면서 얼마나 힘들게 일하는 거 보면서 아까 조금 이해했던 것 같아.
아버지라는 것은 뒤돌아볼 수가 없잖아. 근데 그것도 아빠 입장에 땡큐야. 수고했어. 잘하세요. 잘하시고. 또 점심 먹고 싶은 거 있어?
먹으러 갈 수 있어?
자, 뭐 먹을까?
The time and years of working there for us all, it's traumatic. And so going back into it, we go in knowing that it's not easy work.
Mark, so you came back?
Yes, fortunately I did come back.
How'd you make the decision?
Well, I went through a spiritual retreat to say get rid of all the evil demons and to start afresh. So Danny was cool enough to let me go through that adventure and then come back and then continue on.
How do you feel?
Actually, I feel a lot better. From 2018, it was a little rocky for the start, You gather up a lot of bad energy here, and then take your break, and then you release that energy, and then start over.
To me, I think it is a spiritual thing that we're all here together. I think the creation has made us from the time before we could even think about each other. I think the creation has put us here for a purpose far beyond what any one of us can assume or think. So I give thanks for everyone that's here. That's it.
Latasha Harlan.
Latasha Harlan.
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor.
George Floyd.
George Floyd.
Ahmaud Arbery.
This holiday, Chuseok, is traditionally from farmers in Korea. It's the big harvest festival of the year. And so we get together and we pause and we eat and celebrate and also have time to connect back with our ancestors.
The same system that caused the conflict between Latasha Harlan and Korean communities and black communities, and Koreans are trying to make a living and black folks are trying to make a living. The same system affected us totally different, but at the same time, it's the same system. See, that is the value of life. The value of life is when we begin to help each other. What we need in our society is not more enforcement, but more inspiration.
Looking back to our ancestors and seeing what are they calling us to do. We're a generation out of a long generation of humanity, and one day we will be on the ancestor side too.
마지막 오늘 인벤토리가 마지막 날이에요. 오늘 인벤토리만 끝나면 이제 완전히 끝나는 거예요. 뭐 딱히 피곤해서 그런지 뭐 행복한 건지 하면서 흑심을 그동안 20년 동안 일한 것도 있고 근데 어쨌든 좀 쉬었다가 뭐 쉬고 싶은 생각이
오랜만에 됐습니다. 이쪽 같은데
저쪽이다?
우리 마지막 서비.
딱 걸릴까요?
그날 바로 서비.
저기 수고 많이 했어. 아이고 저기 그동안 그냥 아빠 쫓아내서 저기 아빠 지금 생각에는 옛날에 저기 뭐 수화매 양말 수화매 탈 때 새벽에 일어나죠. 새벽에 일어나서 싣고 내리고 또 싣고 내리고 고생 많이 했어. 어쨌든 빨리 이제 시집 가. 우리 아빠 잘하는 거야 아빠가.
이거 괜찮아?
괜찮아. 됐잖아. 오케이.
저것도 갖고 가야 돼. 누가 올 거야?
이거 우리가? 이거 엄마 근데 안 뒀어. 비행기. 근데 해피할만 남은 거. 여기다. 셀러 푸드.
It's hard to believe that this day is finally here.
손님 손님입니다.
Creating this film gave us the space to have difficult conversation. And I'm so thankful it brought us closer together rather than tearing us apart. I want to honor my parents' struggles by transforming the past and creating my own future. But most importantly, keep dreaming.
어떤 한 입들이 떨어지는 가을밤에 그 어디서 들려오나 귀뚜라미 우는 소리 고요하게 흐르는 밤의 전망을 어디에서 나만 싫다고 부르대나 그 마음 서러우며 가을바람 따라서 너의 마음 멀리 멀리 지어보내주려구나.